Why choosing life is a better option than abortion. The topic of abortion is a very sensitive subject and is highly debated. Whether it is a woman's choice to have an abortion or whether it is killing an innocent baby. Many people have different views on why women should or should not be able to have an abortion. In my report, I will go in depth on the reasons of why women have abortion and show you how these reasons are illegitimate. I'm going to explain to you that adoption is a choice that every pregnant woman has and prove that choosing life is a better option. My first main point is the reason women have abortions. In a survey that was conducted in 2000, which you can find on the Wikipedia website, the number one reason that women have abortions is because they want to postpone childbearing until later in life. With the advances in medicine and technology, there are many pregnancy preventions that include birth control and contraceptives, most of which are 99.9% effective when used correctly. There is little to no excuse for women becoming pregnant when they want to postpone childbearing, unless simply they are not responsible enough to be having sex in the first place. If you are not ready for a child, there is always someone out there who cannot have children for themselves and would like to even adopt a child. The second most common response women gave for the reason for abortion is because they couldn't simply afford a baby. Financial stability is important in childbearing and being a parent in general, but there are many government-funded programs designed specifically for families with financial needs. One of these programs is called WIC. WIC is a program that helps pregnant women. While they're pregnant, it gets them prenatal vitamins and maternal care. And after the baby's born, it provides such things as canned formula, dry rice cereal, and baby jars of food that include fruits and vegetables and other nutritious foods. There is another government-funded program called SRS. SRS provides food stamps and financial assistance to low-income families. Food stamps and financial assistance aren't the only thing that you can get through SRS. If you can't afford a house, they will help you. They have a program called Section 8, which will get you into low-income housing. If you cannot afford a child, there is always someone out there who is financially ready. As mentioned before, there are plenty of people out there who cannot have children and would love to have a child. So keep this in mind. The next most common reason women gave for not wanting a baby or wanting to have an abortion was because it would disrupt their education or their career. This is one of the most selfish reasons I have heard for having an abortion. To kill an unborn child just because it might inconvenience you or disrupt your goals or what you want to do in life is very selfish. Many people have children and become very successful simply for the reason that they have to provide the best life that they can for their child. It drives them to work harder and be more successful. There are a lot of successful people out there with great careers and education that are willing to adopt your child and give them the best life that they can. My second main point is that women have choices other than abortion. Just because you don't want a child doesn't mean that you have to abort. Adoption is the best option for women that become pregnant that do not want a child. 3 out of 4 adopted children are read and sung to every day. More than half of adopted children eat dinner with their families 6 days out of the week. It is quite evident that adoptive parents are great when it comes to being cared for from their parents. Any woman concerned about the welfare of her child should have no reason to worry given the statistics on children that have been adopted. There are 2 different types of adoption. The first type of adoption would be called an open adoption. For parents who do not think that they can take care of their child, but they want to give it to a family that can, but they would still like to see their child grow, can choose open adoption. Open adoption would be where you might be able to get pictures, letters, schoolwork as they get older, and possibly even being able to have maybe yearly visits or holiday visits. It'll all depend on the parents chosen. Then there is the second type of adoption, which would include a closed adoption. This may be a better option for people who do not want any responsibility for their child whatsoever. This gives you the option to have somebody adopt your child without you getting any type of contact with them. You would just sign the papers and you would never see your child again. In my third main point, I'd like to explain the statistics. As I mentioned earlier, 3 of the most common concerns about why women get abortions, I'd like to go more in depth about that. Here on this statistics chart, I'm going to show you. The red is going to be all the percentages. Down here is going to be the reasons for abortions. Okay, we're going to start right here, which is women wanting to postpone childbearing. 25.5% of women wanted to postpone childbearing. 21.3% of women say that they can't afford a baby and that's why they choose abortion. 12.2% are too young. This would include teenagers whose parents object to abortion or object to having a child and they'd rather have their teenager have an abortion. 10.8% saying having a child would disrupt education or job. 7.9% don't want any more children. In the case of not wanting any more children, there are medical procedures out there that you can take, such as getting your tubes tied, cut, and burned. And even the males today can get surgical procedures done to where you can't have kids anymore. 3.3% is to risk of fetal health. This is one of the very few reasons for abortion that I agree with. 2.8% is risk to maternal health, which is also another one I can see accepting abortion for that. 2.1% are other. 1% of that 2.1%, only 1% is for cases such as rape and incest. I'll give you a minute just to look at this chart, and these are the reasons why. All of these big ones right here are illegitimate reasons to why a woman should have an abortion. There are very few justifiable abortions as an accepted alternative to adoption. I understand if a young girl is raped, or a child is a product of incest or molestation, or if the mother is in life-threatening maternal health. Abortion may be an appropriate option if any of these occur. Given the statistics that I just showed you about abortion, it is evident that the majority of reasons for abortion are selfish. Abortion in most cases is unacceptable and irresponsible because of the reasons that were given for killing an innocent child. If your dog or cat had puppies or kittens, and you could not afford them, would you just simply throw them away or destroy them? Why would you treat an animal more humanely than you would your own child? I myself personally became pregnant at a young age, and I had to face my own decisions. I had to make the choices of my own about keeping a child. And I can say I was a teenager when I did get pregnant. And I chose what was better for me. I chose to keep my child. And I'd just like you to take a quick look at a picture. In this picture, it is an actual sonogram of one of my children. This picture is a picture of a 12-week fetus. As you can see, even at 12 weeks, the baby has a spine, it has legs, it has hands. You can see its head. A lot of women think that if they have abortions early in pregnancy that they're not affecting anything. If you take a really good look at this picture, you can see that it is a little human inside you, and it is an innocent little child. Next, I'd like you to see, by me choosing life for my child that I was carrying, this is the product of it. This is my firstborn son. And I think it was the best option that you could change. You know, as I've talked about throughout this speech, some women think that it will disrupt their education or their job. Throughout my entire pregnancy, I worked and went to college. And I'm still going to college today, even with having my second child. With this speech being given to you today, I want you to take a look at these statistics and think about options. Abortion is just not acceptable. The reasons that are given for abortions are not acceptable today. Unless it is in the last 3 percentile, those are the only acceptable reasons for having an abortion.